Hey everybody, Denadin here. So today I'm going to be playing a game called Dungeons and Dragons Online. Now you can see the video. This is the old intro cinematic. Well, not the old one. It's the original intro cinematic for the game. And this game is an MMORPG. It's a massive multiplayer online role-playing game. It's been around for a long time, almost about a few years less than World of Warcraft, I believe. And it is originally it was uh when it first came out, the game was very different than the way it is now. Not too different, but the game was sold off to WB Games, and then they changed a few things when they made it free to play. And ever since then, the game's been it's had both a subscription and free to play option. And if you go free to play, it still has a lot of the game available to you. You can unlock pretty much everything in the game with an in-game currency if you play enough, and or if not, you can always just pay for the premium, which is still, I believe, $10 a month, and you have access to pretty much everything minus a few expansions that you have to buy separately, but you can also buy those with in-game currency as well. So this game, I'm gonna go ahead and create a new character, just so that you guys can see what the character creator is like at first, and then after that I'm going to go ahead and play and do a few dungeons with some of my other characters that I have. Oh, a beholder. So yeah, this intro video that was going on in the background right now, it shows pretty much the basics of what the game has to offer. The way the game is designed, it was designed to be an instance-based dungeon crawler. So every time you take a quest, you enter an instance that's specifically for you and your team. So currently, that's one of my strongest characters, Dragniel. I have a lot of other characters that have that I've been playing for a long time. um, Diedrich is my original character, and he's been around, and he is a completionist, or almost is, I believe. I think they just released the Alchemist class a few months ago, so I have to finish playing through the Alchemist. And the way the system works is it has a system where once you hit max level, you can reincarnate your character, go back to level 1, and play through the game again. But this time you're a little stronger and you have a few little buffs. So, the buffs are not huge buffs. But they are permanent buffs. So if you do it enough time, it actually does give you a nice little bonus. So let's see what the character creator has to offer. Now, for any of you guys that have played Dungeons and Dragons games before, you know that there's basic archetype of classes. So in this game, we have melee classes, which include the fighter, the barbarian, the paladin, or the monk. So each of them are somewhat unique, but their primary role is that they are melee-based damage dealers. The other one that we have spellcasters, and there's a lot of different spellcasters. The two primary types are damage and support or healing. So we have a sorcerer, a cleric, a wizard, the favorite soul, which is a different type of divine healing caster. We have a druid, and we have the warlock. So all of these, their primary difference is that their main damage source is casting, but they also do have archetypes. For example, the wizard and the sorcerer have an eldritch knight subclass where they can actually become melee elemental based fighters. The clerics and the favorite soul have the war priest or the war favorite soul, and the druid has their animal form. The warlock has they're actually a unique class altogether because their primary source of damage is their eldritch blast. And then we have our specialists too, which include the ranger, the rogue, the bard, the artificer, and of course the newest class they have released, the alchemist. So all of these are usually they're specialists because their primary source of damage or utility comes from something other than melee or spellcasting. For example, the ranger, they get bows, and they have a lot of different trees that are unique with bows, as so do the artificers, but their bows are more crossbows and repeating crossbows. The bard specializes in song magic, and they also have they're unique songs that they can sing that give buffs or healing or a lot of different effects. The rogue and the artificer again also are trappers, so they can remove, find, and disable traps. So, and that's actually unique to their class. They're the only ones that can have it. So if you want to be able to disable traps, you have to either play a rogue, an artificer, or you have to multi-class, which is another option in this game. And then we have the alchemist, which is the newest one, and they specialize in potions. So they make potions that they can throw, and they also specialize in very different types of spell casting. So if for any of you guys have, oh, and they also have iconic classes. Now these classes, they pretty much play the same as the rest of them. The only thing is they start at level 15 and they have a unique racial tree. So, for example, if the Purple Dragon Knight is a fighter, but they're Cormarian fighters, so they are naturally they're also good with charisma, not just strength and constitution as basic fighters. In the Shadarkai is a unique rogue, which has this whip attack, this chain whip that they can use to damage or DC or crowd control certain enemies. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and do something that's a little bit common for me, which is the Paladin. So when you start the game, you can either customize your character or you can play a preset. Now the presets are not very good overall, but they are good if you're very unfamiliar with Dungeons and Dragons games, or if you just want a very simple way of playing. You know, they're designed so that they do all of the basic stats for you. But I'm gonna go ahead and do customize because I liked to customize, and then let's see. And then we have all the different races. These are all the races you can choose from. The Asimir, which is celestials, half celestial beings. So they end up having a racial tree that gives them unique traits. So they actually have a passive healing hand, which is similar to the healing hands that paladins gain, except that this is based off of wisdom instead of charisma. The Dragonborn, of course, the dragon race, the Drow, the dark elves. We have dwarves. We have Corvarian elves, which are the normal elves of the game. And then they also added a subtype, the wood elves, of a short while ago. And the wood elves, actually, they have, you can see that their facial graphics are a little updated because they're of course newer. So, which is nice. It's having some updates. The gnomes were added a few months ago, and about a year or two ago. And the halfling, which is the original halfling race that they had in the game. They have half elves, half orcs, humans, tieflings, and the warforge. So half living metal and wood. And the warforge is nice because they gain immunities, natural immunities to a lot of different effects. However, they gain reduced healing from positive healing. They actually need reconstruction healing. This game uses the 3.5 edition rule set of Dungeons and Dragons as their core, but there have been changes that have been done based on because it's an MMO, so it's always changing, balancing and doing things like that. But it's still based on 3.5. So it uses a point system. And so let's say, for example, if we're doing a paladin, obviously we want to do strength and charisma. We want to get a good amount of constitution too. So we could do that, and that would be like, oh, that's exactly what I want. Just a lot of strength, con, and charisma. However, since we want to make sure that we balance out, we can always drop a little bit charisma and gain intelligence and wisdom, since strength and con are our main primary damage skills, and charisma affects our lay on hands. Okay, so the nice thing about this game is that you also have a lot of skills. Now, these skills, for the most part, are passive, other than a few things like bluff, intimidate, and diplomacy, which you can use to not only have passive conversation effects, but you can also use them in combat to have different things. For example, if you use diplomacy on an enemy, it makes them less likely to want to target you. So it's good for characters like healers that don't want to be targeted by certain enemies. While intimidate has the opposite effect. It makes enemies want to target you, so it's good for tanks. Bluff makes it so that enemies are vulnerable to sneak attacks, so it's good for rogues. And then they have a lot of passive skills. For example, so use magic device. It allows you to use wands and scrolls. Swim, spot, search. Search is always good because it allows you to find hidden doors, even if you're not a rogue. But if you are a rogue type or a trapper type, you need search in order to actually find traps. So the trap devices, the trap boxes. Um, Jump is always a good skill also because it allows you to actually jump higher. The higher your jump is, the higher you can jump naturally. I believe it has a soft cap at 40, which allows you to jump roughly, I think, 1.5 times your normal jump height. However, it's you can always go higher than that because there's things that reduce your jump. For example, your armor. If you're wearing heavy armor, it'll make it so that your jump is actually lower. And also certain spells and effects that can debuff you. So let's just go ahead. If we're doing a pally, we would do concentration, let's do diplomacy, and let's do heal. So, I mean, we could do like split these and go intimidate. Although normally, if you're gonna be starting off, I would always recommend heal and concentration early on. Intimidate is nice if you're gonna go a tank type, but use magic device is always useful because it allows you later on to have a little bit more variety with your character. You would have, for example, access to healing scrolls and resurrection scrolls, and you can also have different types of buff spells. For example, the shield spell or the night shield spell, which deflects magic missiles, is always a nice effect. And then you also get feats. So a while back they changed some of the feats to be a little bit more easier to split up and find. So now they have all these different combat feats. So the basic combat feats are two-handed fighting, shield fighting, or shield mastery, which allows you to be more defensive and also gain double strike when you're using a shield. Two-handed fighting allows you to gain strike through whenever you're using a two-handed weapon. A strike through allows you to hit your target plus another target that's in range of your two-handed attack. Then they also have single weapon fighting, but in order to have single weapon fighting, you need balance. And I don't have balance right now because I'm a paladin. So, and then the final one would be, what was the last one? Is two-handed fighting. Oh, two-weapon fighting. So you can dual wield weapons, and what it does is it makes your offhand have a higher chance of gaining a percent chance to hit. So whenever you're dual wielding weapons, your offhand only has a 20% chance to attack when you're attacking, and each two-weapon fighting increases it by 20% up to a maximum of 60 from feats, I believe, or 80% from feats, and then you can also gain certain things through class features. For example, the ranger is really good at two weapon fighting. So if we were gonna be doing a paladin, we'd probably want to go two-handed fighting, and then we would probably also want something like power attack, which allows us to unlock new stuff. For example, cleave requires power attack. So we would probably go something like do power attack and cleave. That way we can have a combat ability early on. And then we also get a class feat, which are in yellow. And for example, this class feat would be, let me see, the Sovereign Host. I would probably go the Sovereign Host just because I know later on it allows you to get a nice healing effect. However, they do have a lot of different ones which change your favorite weapon. So for example, the Aryan would be a favorite weapon of quarterstaffs. Alandra would give you a favorite weapon of sickles, and so on. So warhammers from Onatar, daggers through Vol. The Silver Flame has bows, and the Sovereign Host gives you longswords. So it's nice to have all these extra features. All right, so and then that would be your character. So this would be your default character, more or less, and then you get to pick your name. So I don't think Danadin's available anymore because I believe I believe somebody had this name on this server, or I might have had it a long time ago. And then you get to pick your hairstyle. Oh, There we go. Okay, that was weird. There was a car alarm in the background. Anyway, so you get to pick your hairstyle. So you can go like this. Let's see what. I guess I'll. No. What do I want? Go. I'll just go that one. And then let's go orange. And we get eyebrows. So we get eyes. And my eyes are green, so I'm gonna just go with green. Normal nose, similar to mine. All right. Crazy. And all right. The beards. I kind of like that. It's been a while since I made a character. All right. Kind of like that actually. The Obi-Wan beard. And you know what? Let me. Yeah, that's like an Obi-Wan type character. There we go. There we go. And facial details, so it'd be like scars. And then for female characters, they also get other accessories like rings and earrings and piercings and certain things like that. Some of the males do too, but not the humans. Usually, it's some of the other males, like the Shadarkai. So for experience, we'll just get a nice little eye scar here. Then we can be our skin color. Let's where would I be? Probably be somewhere around there, maybe. Let's go there. Okay. And then you also get to pick your alignment. So as a paladin, in this system for 3.5, they have class restrictions based on alignment. So for example, you can't be a paladin bard in 3.5 because paladins have to be lawful good and bards cannot be lawful. Neither can barbarians. For example, monks have to be lawful, but it doesn't have to be good. It can be lawful good or lawful neutral. None of your characters can actually be evil in the game, so there's no such thing as like fallen paladins or evil paladins. There are in some of the expansion rulebooks for 3.5, but not in this game. And there's a few other restrictions, but for the most part, the only ones that are really affected are characters that have to be that are very specific to alignment, like paladins and bards, and that's about it. Because other things like clerics, wizards, all of those, they don't really have any restrictions when it comes to alignment. So let's go ahead and see if we can do that. Yeah, see, I didn't think it was gonna be there. Let's go. Go. Oh, Danadin. Oh, Danadin. Yeah, there we go. So I just created it so you could see what it is. And then, but now, for now, I'm going to go ahead and play something else. So I can do, let me do, who do I want to play today? Well, I have my paladin here. Yeah, Airric. So this character is actually named after my brother. So let's go ahead and load into Airric so you guys can see what the game is like a little bit. And then I was going to try to do a raid earlier, but it fell through. So I couldn't keep the recording because we only got halfway through the video. I mean, halfway through the run, and then we disbanded as a group. So in the game, they have these, you can have a guild, and your guild can gain levels, and based on your levels, you get certain guild rewards as a perk. So one of the perks that we have on our guild is we have a guild ship, an airship. So you can see it, whoa, like this. Uh-oh. I just fell off my ship. That's not good. Well, once you fall, all it does is it sends you back to the market or wherever you were based on where your ship was flying over. And for me, it looks like we were over the harbor. So actually, this is normally around where you would start. You would start on Portos Island, which is the beginning island, and then once you finish the beginning area, which is the Portos Island, which is the tutorial, you would come here, and this is the first area where you would do quests, which would be the harbor. And here, You can see we have a lot of bars. You can actually have a lot more bars. This I usually tend to try to limit myself. I don't want to have too many bars, but you can actually have a lot more bars, as you can see. And some people actually do end up playing with a lot of bars all over their map. But I try to keep my viewing area somewhat clean because I don't like it to be too cluttered. But at the same time, I understand the value of having a lot of different uh, bars so that you can actually have choices, because you there's a lot of items in the game that also have effects. You can have potions. For example, I have my potions here, which remove blindness, increase my jump. I have wands and scrolls. And then I have all of my different sub weapon types here. For example, right now I'm currently using a longsword here, and then I can also have a warhammer. I have this warhammer, and I have a different warhammer, which is a spectral warhammer, which I use to fight undead creatures. And you also, here you can see your skills, your feats, your spells, and your enhancements. Now your enhancements is another feature of the game. Each character has specific enhancements that they can gain. Every time you gain a level, you also not a level. Every time you rank up, you gain an enhancement point. Once you reach 5, then you can level up your character. So every level, you actually get 4 ranks of enhancement points, and then you can gain a level. So, and there's different types of enhancements. There's a racial enhancement based on your race. So currently my paladin is a tiefling, so he's very good with charisma, and he also gains fire spell damage to his weapon damage. And you have your class enhancements based on which class you're playing. If you're multi-classing, you actually have access to any class enhancement line that you're playing, but only up to the level that you have them raised. So at level 1, you can access the first tier, level 2, level 3, and level 4. And then the 5th level, you can only have one based on any of the classes that you pick. So you want to make sure you gain at least 5 levels or more with the highest tier enhancement tree that you want to gain. I'm going the Knight of Chalice, which is a paladin that's actually very good against fighting undead and evil creatures, which is pretty much my MO. And you gain a free cleave, an exalted cleave, which is stronger than a regular cleave. And then I also gain a few extra abilities. For example, I have an exalted smite, which deals extra damage when I crit. I have a lead the charge ability, which allows me to charge enemies and attack the first enemy that I hit for 5 times my weapon damage. Actually, it's only rank 1, so it's only 2 times my weapon damage. And then I also have all of these knight training abilities, which allows me to access different weapons to be my favorite weapon. Instead of just using the longsword, I can also use longsword, battle axe, heavy mace, and all of these different types of weapons as my favorite weapon, so I can gain bonuses when I'm fighting with them. And then they also have these other enhancement trees, which are optional ones that you can unlock. So they have, for example, the Inquisitive tree, which allows you to use dual wield crossbows, one-handed crossbows. The Vistani fighter, which is if any of you guys have actually ever played through Ravenloft, the Vistani are kind of like they're like nomads in that area, and they give a special kind of knife fighting tree. So you either have a special dual wielding fighting tree, or you have a knife throwing tree. And then they also have a falconry tree, which gives you a falcon pet that you can use to actually fight with. Or you have the Harper agent. The Harpers are kind of like in the Forgotten Realm setting. They're a group of, I don't want to say spies. I want to say, well, they're a group in the Forgotten Realms. They're, what would the correct word be? I want to say maybe like ranger types, like ranger rogue types that do a lot of different things. And they're based and so their tree gives you a variety of things like bonuses to skills and just general damage and overall. And they allow you to use your intelligence when better when you're in combat. So, all right, right now I'm gonna go ahead and do a quest real fast. So right now I'm currently level 8 with this character. So I'm gonna try to find a quest that I can do. That's so, and as you can see, they have a lot of quests, a lot of quests. So you have a lot of different things you can play through. And the quest I'm gonna do right now is, let me see. I was doing around roughly level 6 quests, I believe. Relapse, Purge, the Red Willow Ruins, Fiarlan. How about we do, let's go to House Fiarlan. So I'm gonna go ahead and go here. So from the harbor, you can go north and you're heading into the marketplace. So this is what the marketplace looks like. As soon as you enter the marketplace, they have all of these trainers here. This is where you would come to level up your class whenever you gain enough experience. Level up. So for example, the Paladin trainer would be right here. This is where you would level up your Paladin, but I don't have enough level experience right now. You have a lot of different buffs too that you can hear. Like for example, these are our guild buffs. Right now I have minimized, but if I went into my options and I go to UI settings, I believe, guild, I could actually unhide my guild buffs, and you would see that we have a lot of different guild buffs. Most of them are very small buffs. They're like +2 guild bonus to armor, 5% fortification, and +2 armor. Seems like a lot if if we were playing a regular type game, but we're not because but like I said, we're not because like for example, 32 armor would be a lot of experience. Uh-oh, did I get disconnected? I think I got disconnected. Hold on. All right, we're back, everybody. So, okay, as I was saying, um, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a level 6 quest. I'm level 8 right now. So the way the quests work is it has a level-based system based on the difficulty of the quest. So if you pick up a quest at level 6, it would be a level 6 quest. If you pick it up, if you do the exact same quest, the level 6 quest on hard, it would be a level 7 quest. If you do it on elite, which was the normal hardest version of the game, it would be a level 8 quest. And then the other thing that they added a while ago was a Reaper mode, which makes the game even harder than Elite. It adds a lot of negative debuffs to your character, which is kind of similar to like if you guys watch my Risk of Rain videos. It's kind of like Eclipse mode, where they give you debuffs or permanent negatives. So on Reaper, you gain a negative to self healing, and you also gain a negative to your damage, while the enemies do more damage, and they also gain a lot of special higher resistances. Now there is something that they added though, however, because the Reaper quests also give a lot more experience, and to make it a little better to do Reaper, they also added a Reaper enhancement tree, which is separate from your own tree that you gain points through. However, it takes a lot of XP to level up your Reaper level, so it's really more for end game characters or completionists or people who play a lot. I wouldn't recommend it for first timers or players who don't generally play Reaper quests a lot. I mean, who don't generally play the game a lot, because of the fact that it really does make the game very difficult. Okay, so I'm gonna come here. Which quest is this? This is Rest for the Restless. That's not our quest. Level 4 quest. So, what about here? We're looking for a level 6 quest. So this quest would be here, Cage Curl. So here you can see Reaper. So it goes from Reaper 1 up to level 10, and it's a very big difference. But we're gonna go ahead and play on Elite, which is the highest normal difficulty mode that I normally play on. I usually only do Reaper when I'm playing with friends. So I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a few buffs, and I only have 2 buffs for myself at the moment. Oh, but I do have this shield spell. There we go. So see, my cleave increases my damage by a lot. I critted, so I did 114 damage. Right now I'm doing about 25 damage per hit. The game itself has a decent combat system compared to some of the current MMO games out there. Let me bring up the volume a little. And so they have a lot of mechanics that are not available in certain MMO games, where you actually have to do certain things. Like, you can avoid traps in the game. You can avoid them. You can use traps to your advantage and actually make traps attack enemies if you lure them the right way. Open this up real fast. Green key. Okay. Oh, alchemy table. All of these here, collectibles, you can use them for crafting purposes, or you can trade them into certain characters to gain items, certain equipment buffs. We're gonna come over here and see what we're doing. I haven't done this quest in a while, so I've actually done most of the quests in the game because with my completionist character, like I said, every time you reach the max level, you can use special endgame tokens to buy a heart of the wood, which is a resurrection heart that allows you to reincarnate your character. And this character, for example, has been reincarnated a few times as a paladin before past lives. So yeah, I've done one reincarnation as a favorite soul, 3 as a paladin, 1 as a warlock, 1 as a wizard. But this character I pretty much designed them to be mainly a paladin. So, and then I named them after my brother Airric. It was spelled a little differently, but I did like the moniker Airric. So.
The trapped troll bellows at you with frustration and rage. He's clearly
I also think I don't remember if it was exactly his name, but if you guys ever watched Willow, I believe the Mad Mardigan's friend was also named Airric, and I think it was spelled the same way. Oh, this guy hurts. So yeah, see, so you got to be careful. Right here, that was an undead skeleton. All right, so most normal quests play at about this level, so it's if you guys are familiar with MMOs, it's I'm just gonna use my lay on hands. It can be a little slower for certain quests. Oh, right here, see right here where we're disabling little things. So, but I do like the mechanics of the game. Yeah, I like that it has a very active combat system, which is something that a lot of games don't really have. And where you actually, like, I'm right here, I'm swinging. If you guys can hear my mouse, you can hold it too, but it's very different than a lot of games like World of Warcraft, where you just tab and it auto attacks everything while you're just moving around. And this one, you have to pay attention, because there's certain times when you don't want to attack a target. You're not just trying to maximize DPS. Sometimes you, whoa, oh, there's a trap right here. So you see, these are spiked floor traps. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this lever, and I think that deactivates this one. And then there's more enemies here. Right, that was a fear spell, but we don't have to worry about fear spells because we're paladins, and paladins have immunity to fear. Oh, there's a blade trap, but we don't have immunity to blades. I think so. It has a lot of nice different mechanics in the game, and it has a lot of variety of play styles. Some people like to play, like I play it very. Some people are zergers, it's a term, of course, and they like to just come in and run through the quest as fast as they can. I'm kind of a bit more of a completionist the way I play my games. Even though I've done this dungeon so many times, I still like to play it like the way you're doing a dungeon. You're just searching, and you're trying to find all the little different pieces. And they have bonuses like if you defeat the majority of enemies in the map, you gain a bonus to the amount of experience you gain. Oh, that's a slime. I'm gonna switch to my Warhammer. So this Warhammer is a spectral Warhammer. It actually is it doesn't take durability damage, so there is durability damage in the game. You can break your weapons by fighting slimes, and of course there's also even worse things than slimes. Gelatinous cubes. Anyone? Yes, no? So actually, I'm gonna stick to my Spectral Warhammer right now because it's also good against undead enemies. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and open these. This. Then, oh, there's the door. Oh, we have a dwarf necromancer. Then we have our Blackbone Thrall. And then after this, I'll go ahead and do one more dungeon, and I'll do it with my higher level characters, so you guys can see what some of the end game character damage is like. Right here we got that control. All right, so and that completes this quest. So the point of this quest was we were supposed to kill both the Emerald Claw, the first capture troll, and the second one. So this quest area. That was the objectives, and we did that. But we're gonna go ahead and run back because it also has an optional objective. It says plunder the Emerald Claw's treasure cache, which is the room at the very beginning, which was locked. It had those two locked doors. All right, so I'm gonna just go ahead and head over here real fast. All right, and then you can see here we have an experience report. So based on the quest, it has the base number of XP you gain, and mine was 916. And then it said you get bonuses. The first time you do a quest on Elite, you gain 45% extra XP. Whenever you've based on your bravery bonus, which is how many times you've done a dungeon on either hard or Elite, you gain an extra 100%. If the first time you do it is on Elite, 50% on hard, and then I have a special tome, a book that's a character buff here that gives me an extra 50% the first time I do a quest, which is good for character whenever you reincarnate a lot. You don't have to reincarnate. I have a friend who has a permanent first lifer. Sir Michael is the name. Shout out to him. And he's been playing this game since the very beginning, and he's never TR'd that character. He's actually quite famous on the server for playing a non-TR'd character, and he does in-game content all the time. And I'm not talking about like normal in-game. I'm talking about like normal Reaper in-game. So, and then see, we get bonuses. Like we have the conquest bonus for defeating most of the enemies or all the enemies on the map. A vandal bonus based on how many breakable objects we destroyed. If it was gold, that means that would be the highest one. We did persistence bonus by not dying and re-entering the dungeon. So if you die, you don't have to worry that you failed. You can always come back in as long as you don't have to wait too long. So you can die, you can go resurrect and heal up your wounds, and then you can come back in. But you do lose your persistence and your flawless victory bonus. And then sometimes they have little bonus XP, like daily playthrough bonuses given through the server. So here we go. Soothing, heal and combustion. That's pretty good. Because this character is going to be a fire paladin. So I want to specialize in doing fire damage attacks. So now you can either exit the dungeon manually, or you can just click finish, and it'll take you to the outside of the dungeon. So that was my level 8 character, Airric, my level 8 paladin. And the game, so once you hit level 20, you can start doing epic content, which is things past level normal, what's considered heroic content, level 1 through 20. Epic content enemies have a lot more life, a lot more damage. They do a lot more damage. and the quests are even harder. And then once you hit level 30, you can do what's considered legendary content. So this is currently my strongest character, but not overall, just the highest level character I have at the moment. He's a level 30 bard. He's level 20s of bard, 10 epic levels. So, but he's a pure bard, and he's mainly a support and song damage based character. So, he's also a first lifer. I've never TR'd this character, so I created him to play with my friend Sir Michael, and I'm gonna be using him soon to create a video where we're gonna be trying to do a special dungeon at Reaper 5. So, it's gonna be really hard. And so currently, this is my song bard, and he specializes in song spells. So he does sonic damage with shout. He has a spell called Horn of Thunder, which does sonic and thunder damage, and he also is a dragonborn. So I also have him specialize in lightning damage. You can see he's very lightningy looking, and but he is a bard. He's mainly a caster and a support character. So let me go ahead and see what I want to do with him real fast. So, I was mainly doing. I believe I was doing. I guess I was doing Sharn content. I'm gonna go ahead and go through. What do I want to do? Trial by Fury. Oh, I know what I can do. I will go try to do a Arn quest. So I'm gonna go. Let me use I have a few teleporting scrolls. So for example, I have a key to the city of Evening Star. So right now, currently, we're not in the Forgotten Realms. Right now, we're in the Eberron, area of content, and Eberron area of content is um, where Baldur's Gate and certain cities like that are. Um, the Sharn and certain things, and then we can also use our key to go to Evening Star, and Evening Star is where the Harpers lie and certain other content. No, I'm sorry. Baldur's Gate, I believe, is also in the Forgotten Realms. I think this one has what's the name of that city? I'm trying to remember what it was called. I guess I can just teleport there and see what it is. It's been a while since I played, but so I'm kind of forgetting some of the names. But we're going to the 12, and oh yeah, Ravenloft. So the Mist of Ravenloft. Ravenloft is also in this area of Eberron, and the city of the 12. This is like kind of like where their mages live, and the Sharn Syndicate is also where we're going to, the city of Sharn. And so that's where we're going to be going to. Actually, I can just tell. And let's go to Corn's Forge. So, so it's going to be a little bit different than what you guys just saw with my Paladin. This is going to be a little bit more fast paced, and you're going to be seeing a lot more damage. So with my Paladin, he was roughly doing about 30 damage per hit, and when he crits, he does about 120 damage. This character is a lot stronger. He's so the scaling between level 1 to 20 is roughly somewhere between the low 10s to 20 damage to roughly about 100 to 200 damage. But in the epic levels, because of the difference in gear and just potential dice rolls of abilities, it does a lot. Does a lot more damage. So let's go ahead and let me just show you guys. So first spell, let me show you a big one. My lightning breath, 8,000 damage right there. Yes. And then I'm gonna use my shout right now. Shout does about 2,000, 3,000 damage per hit. Alright, which one is this? Smash and burn? No, that's not the one I'm looking for. So I'm gonna go look for a quest right now in this area over here. Right now I'm gonna do one of my other spells, my lightning energy burst. So that roughly does about 8,000 damage too. So if it crits, it does a lot more. It does about 15 to 20,000 damage. Woo! I'm floating. I also, because I'm a Dragonborn, I have this special ability called Memory of Flight, which allows me to kind of jump or boost myself forward because I'm remembering the time when I had dragon wings. So my racial enhancement tree focuses on my dragon abilities a little bit, my Dragonborn racial traits. So I have a lot of bonuses to my charisma. That's what bards need. Bards need charisma.
So that's what a trap going off looks like.
Oh yeah, and that was a trap, but it's okay. My character is pretty strong, and this is actually not a dungeon. I mean, it is a dungeon, but it's not like an instance dungeon. This is actually what it's called a wilderness area. So it's usually leading up to a dungeon, and you're fighting enemies at the level of the area, which is level 30 here or 31, but on normal. So this is how strong the enemies would be on normal. So you can see that they roughly have about, I want to say maybe about 4 to 5,000 hit points. But we're not going to be playing on normal. We're going to be playing on either hard or elite.
Nice one.
This character also, I can also do, I also do, oh yeah, I can freeze him. I can also do Reaper content with this character. I do have a few Reaper levels, but not as many as I would like to do the dungeon by myself. So I'm going to actually not try to do the Reaper dungeon. This the area here. Actually, this way. Yeah, it's this way. All right. Yeah, so tonight I was actually going to play a different game, but my friend asked me, he said that he really wanted to see me record a Dungeons and Dragons Online video, so this one goes out to him. Again, Sir Michael. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. And he's been playing this game. I've been playing this game with him on and off since pretty much since it launched. He's actually stuck with it a lot more than I have. I kind of usually play for a few months and then I take a break because work and other things. But all right, so we're gonna do a quest called the Wraitcallers. It's a short duration quest, so it won't be too long. And so we're gonna be playing. So see, this quest is level 32. It's a legendary quest. We can either play it on hard, legendary hard, or legendary elite. I'm gonna go ahead and try it on legendary elite first, see how we do, and hopefully we can actually succeed. It's been a while since I played, so I hope I'm not too rusty. And so let's go ahead. We're gonna do this quest. Let me just buff up. So the first thing I'm using is my Bardic Inspiration, which is a song buff that gives me a lot of different things. Like it gives me a self-sustaining temporary healing song. It gives me a trance, which increases my spells DCs or dice checks. I have other things like excellence, gives me +2 to my ability scores. So see, you can see my ability scores. I have 58 charisma and 54 constitution, which is it's not bad, but it can be much higher. But this character is, like I said, he's a first lifer, so I haven't had too much time to give him the best equipment I can find, but he has decent stuff. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and come over here. Ooh. So yeah, these enemies actually do hurt quite a bit more, as you can see. I'm gonna just come over here a little bit and try to fight them a little. Oh, there we go. Alright, so right now I just heal myself. Alright. Alright. Okay, I gotta get rid of these archers up here for sure. One of them is they have a crown, so whenever you do content on hard or on elite, you have a chance to get champion versions of enemies. And what the champion versions do is they actually just are stronger. They do a lot more damage and they're just stronger overall. Oh, that's why I was targeting an enemy that was not in front of me. Normally I try not to target enemies so I can just go ahead and cast my abilities right directly in front of me. So the game does have a target system, but it also has a free casting and attacking system. So for example, if you're using a bow, you don't have to actually target an enemy to hit them. You can just shoot your bow in that direction and it will hit whichever the target is that's nearest to the shot. And if you get special abilities, you can actually pierce enemies with your shot and shoot through them. So you can actually hit multiple enemies. Right, I'm gonna go ahead and try to freeze these guys. Alright, I froze a couple. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and go here. Alright, and then we'll use another lightning breath. There we go. Good. Alright, let's go ahead and explode. Lightning burst. Yeah, so as you can see there, there's a lot more enemies here, and they do a lot more damage than when I was playing with my other character. But I do too, so it balances out. And remember, even though this is legendary hard, which is probably the hardest normal version of the game you can get, my character is actually pretty strong. I've already got most of the equipments that are good for him overall to buff up the things that I want to buff up. For example, my lightning and my sonic spell power, and my health and my defensive traits. But that doesn't mean that this is anywhere near what is considered like the end game. So there's still a lot of things I can do. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and just try to, if I can CC some of these guys over here. Good, I got a few. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy. Okay, I always try to get rid of the crowns first, because the crowns are the ones that really hurt. There we go. Okay, that's 2. I'm gonna see if I can. Oh, these guys are really annoying me. They're using an ability called hamstring, so they're slowing down my movement speed, which is really annoying. It's okay. We got plenty of spell points left. We have 936 and we're regenning. So one of the reasons that I like the Bard, especially for playing solo, is that he actually has the ability, if you go a spell singer, which is what I am, to regen not only your health but also your spell power, your spell points. So for example, I'm going to go to my enhancements real fast. I have this special song called Inspiration Melody, Spell Singer Vigor. So it says when you use your bardic inspiration, you apply an effect to your target that restores spell points over time for the duration. So not only can I use this on myself, I can use it on allies, and it's really nice for allies that use a lot of spell points or allies that don't have a lot of spell points in their spell point pool. So Very good overall. Very good overall effect. Alright, so I'm going to come here and use my lightning burst and try to get at least 1 or 2 down. Then go use my lightning breath. Alright. Let's go ahead and get rid of these guys. I'm going to go ahead and use my lightning aura. Oh my gosh, come on. This doesn't want to fall. There we go. Okay, good. Oh. I think I should be fine for the most part. My saves should be high enough that I shouldn't be tripped by the Comet Fall spell. That's what she keeps casting. Every once in a while you'll see her cast a meteorite. So the characters whose names are in red, like this, a light red, are actually bosses. When they're targeted, they're dark red. So they're immune to a lot of negative effects, a lot of CC effects, and they also just deal a lot more damage than normal enemies, and they have way more hit points. For example, this one has 83,000 hit points. But there's a trick to this particular boss that it is actually not a real boss. This is actually more like a sub-boss. Then as soon as I beat this one, the real boss is gonna appear. Ow. But she's still pretty strong. She's actually, if I didn't have my regen, she would actually really hurt. Okay, and then here's the real boss. Now this one, we want to be careful because he actually shoots these little fireballs and he does some sort of a fire twister. So I'm going to try to move around a little more against this guy. With my ice breath, fire crystal. Right? So if I ever see him start using that fire tornado thing, oh, he does this fly attack. Alright. Remember, this character is a caster, so I'm not really good at just fighting right in front of too many enemies. Even though I am somewhat tanky. Oh, there it is, the fire. That really hurts. If it hits you a lot. Ooh, I critted. Excellent. Alright, so. Oh, okay. I have 2 stacks of that fire burning. So it actually is doing quite a bit of damage to me right now. So whenever he hits you with the fire, he applies this burning debuff, which actually does a lot of damage. It does both fire and negative energy damage. Right, I'm gonna go ahead and do my explosion. Excellent. Alright, so the boss fight wasn't too bad. There are quests that are much harder, and they have much harder boss fights and longer, but this is usually about a short quest. Usually lasts somewhere between 5 and 15 minutes. A medium quest will last about 10 to 30 minutes, and a long quest usually lasts around 15 to 45 minutes or longer. And it really depends on how much time. So you can use use it to measure, and then long quests, very long quests, are usually about an hour or more, and usually those are just raids. So let's see. So I got a few items. I got an axe that I'm just gonna sell because I don't really need that. But this, I got a special item called it's a filigree. So what filigrees do is once you get to a certain point in the game, you can get special weapons. For example, this is my legendary Lilith song, which is a club that's made for songcasters. You can upgrade it, so it has a sentient gem. Every once in a while, you'll hear a voice, and that's what my sentient gem is. It's actually like a living gem, and you can equip certain filigrees on here, and you can actually feed it other rare items, other blue items. I don't have any blue ones right now that I can feed it. This is the green item, so I can't feed it that. Yeah, it has a green outline. But if I had one that had a blue item, like the items that I have here, which are rare, you can use it to upgrade it. And then whenever you equip the item, or whenever you unequip it, sometimes she talks to you. she's not talking right now. Apparently, she doesn't like that I unequipped her. So, but there you go. That's Dungeons and Dragons Online, and it's a fun game. I'm gonna be doing videos for this game every once in a while, just random stuff like raiding. But more or less, when I play it, I might just be live streaming, just because it's really more of a game where there's too much content that I can really go over in a single video. It would either require a host of videos covering all sorts of topics, or it would just be something that you gain over time by playing it, learning from it, like any other MMO. So I'm just gonna go ahead and double recall real fast. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and go to Evening Star, so I can just go back to town. So this is Evening Star. This is the Forgotten Realms, and there's a few characters here that are like familiar. Normally, Elminster would be here, but I guess I'm on the wrong part of the quest. I actually have him here. Oh wait, if he's not here, that means he must be over here. Right? Oh, there he is. Here he is. Elminster. I'm sure some of you guys might know him if you guys followed the Forgotten Realms series, the Sage of Shadowdale. So he's actually one of the main quest givers in this area. They have a lot of different areas here. This, for example, is the beginning area of Evening Star. They have the King's Forest on this side over here, which is has a area that leads into the Underdark. There, what else do we have? We have we have the Wheelun docks, which leads into the Shadow Prison. And then we have over here the Thunder Peaks and the Stormhorns. So there's a lot of nice areas. The graphics for the game are still pretty nice looking. The scenery is really nice if you like nice scenery. And as you guys can see, the combat, while it might be a little antiquated, it's still very good. And it's not really that much different than most MMOs, other than the fact that it has an active combat system where you can actually attack and do things. Certain things you can't do in town, like you can't use certain spells. Oh, somebody just messaged me. So, anyways, I'll go ahead and end my video here. So if you guys are interested in Dungeons and Dragons Online, be sure to check it out. It's ddo.com. It's been around for a good while, but the community is a very nice, active community. There's a lot of servers. I play on a server called Sarlona, and my guild is actually we've had a guild here for a long time. It's we're called the Knights of Ye Old Code. If you guys get the reference, you know what it is. And it's a fun game. It's a fun game. You guys should try it out if you have a chance. If you guys are looking for an MMO to play. And always remember that it's any games that are free to play for MMOs. Usually they have some negative effects. For example, in this particular game, there's certain quests which are unavailable, but you can unlock a lot of them by continually playing. But if you're going to be like a brand new player, I would recommend getting the subscription for a few months if you want to just have access to everything. But it's not necessary. They have plenty of content that you can do for free. A good amount of quests that can get you from level 1 to 20 easily. And you can repeat quests so that you can actually get multiple amounts of XP. Because in order to do a quest on Elite, you have to do it on normal first, and then on hard, and then on Elite, unless you're a VIP member. But it isn't necessary, like I said before. So it's really more for depending on how fast you want to complete the content. But this game really, it shouldn't be considered like one of those MMOs where you just have to complete everything very quickly. You should enjoy yourselves, and if you guys like Dungeons and Dragons type games, this game has a lot of lore and a lot of character building that's based around that type of game, that type of scenario. So be sure to check it out. And the next time I play Dungeons and Dragons Online, we're gonna be fighting giants and dragons. So all right, looking forward to it, everybody. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you guys like the content I'm creating, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.